All right, welcome to the Sunday draft. We will have a child psychologist joining us. Our friend Tvarita will be joining us.
Good to see you again.
Hello, good to see you.
Hey Tvarita,
Good,
how are you
good.
doing?
Yes.
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah. We're so glad to have you back. Don't want to forget about mental health issues for children. That is also a topic that we want to continue to talk about and share updates on the Sunday draft. Um, and you are our expert, and now you have an award to prove it. So tell us about the award.
Yep.
Yes, of course. So this was a press conference for a website called Nestology. So they work with children from 0 to 3, and they work with Montessori methods to gauge their development, pediatric care, and just provide new parents, strategies and understanding of how to raise a child, or if they need help, or just be there for them.
Hmm. And so you were awarded.
So I was invited to the
Yeah,
conference,
yeah,
and I was awarded for being a part of the child psychologist
okay,
family.
yeah. And is this something that they invite people who are doing good work? Like, how did you even get the invite? And right, you recently started your practice.
Actually,
I'm trying to
no,
figure out.
I just got it through LinkedIn. So they
Oh
just
wow.
somehow managed to see me through LinkedIn and also saw the podcast. And
Okay,
so, yeah, and
good.
saw the
So
articles and
maybe
everything. And
yeah.
yes,
What we did maybe helped maybe a little bit.
of course.
Okay, good. No, we are so
Luckily, that
happy.
happened. Yes.
Yeah, we are so happy
So,
for you.
congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because you are doing great work, right? We talked about it. Now, is the work still continuing? Like, how's it going? Like, how's the whole,
It's going well.
yeah. And how
Yes.
many cases do you take in a day or in a week?
It depends. So I also work with another platform. So it depends on how many cases, how many hours I'm online as well.
Yeah. And this is all in India or Delhi, just Delhi focus, or is it all over India? Like, is it globally accessible? Do you get clients from
Um,
outside of India?
no, not currently. So currently
Okay.
with my own clients, I'm right now I'm just getting clients from India,
Yeah.
and other places through the other app that I work with, I get clients from everywhere.
Okay. Cool. So, I wanted to kind of introduce you again on this episode because we want to do this regularly with you, right? We might not get enough people today because we haven't done enough, but this was just an idea you and I just talked about yesterday or day before, right? So it's Ask Me Anything, right? With Tvarita. We will start promoting that more in advance. Um, there are some other ideas I want to kind of utilize using on Substack because there is a global audience on Substack
Mhm.
who it's the same problem across the world. In fact, it's actually probably worse in the US. I was seeing some reports where just teens alone, 13 to 18, 50% of teens in the US aged 13 to 18 have self-reported, admitted to the fact that they're addicted.
Mm.
So they're basically saying, yeah, we are addicted, help us. I
Mm.
don't know if they're saying help us, but they're saying that, and they're spending more than 9 hours on social media, right? Now,
Yes.
yeah, at home, and this is the question I'm going to have for you today, at least from my side, is there's a 4 year old. Okay, and I was just talking to her yesterday. She's no, she's still she doesn't still use the phone, but my parents actually give the phone easily to these kids. Now the older one is 10 years old. She's 4. When I looked at the stats, just in India alone, uh, under 5 years, like kids aged under 5 are spending an average of 2.2 hours per day. Is what the metrics is showing. I mean, is that true?
It's from what I've seen is most children do tend to spend a lot of time. Also with now schools also, integrating the internet and AI and everything. With all the integration, it's many more hours, I believe.
Yeah. See, they're not addicted yet, right? So with my niece, she'll go and play with the doll. She'll talk to her doll. She's got whole imagination stuff going on, right? She's just, she's, my brother was saying that, she will find something to do. She's not always on the phone. Sometimes she'll watch some cartoon stuff and then she'll quickly get back to her imaginative, whatever thing she's doing, and then she'll just play on her own. And I had seen this with my nephew too. When he was in Australia, he would just play with all his toys and stuff like that. The addiction was not there. TV
Hmm.
was there, tablets were there. I mean, they were used, but somehow the addiction wasn't there. But after a point, I don't know what that age is. So that's one of my questions. Like, at what point do kids go from just this as a distraction, like tablet being a kind of distraction, to tablet being a tablet, or smartphone being an addiction? Is there a point in time that happens?
No, not necessarily. So, it depends on the children that the child, I mean, the things that the child has. So, if the child is bored all the time and is not doing any stimulating activity, or there's nothing that's actually keeping the child's dopamine receptors alive, they
Hmm.
will depend on sources like the internet, YouTube, gaming, because it just catches onto them and they believe that they have control. So it makes it easier for them to, shift their focus to games and all of these things. But it really depends on, again, the parenting style, because there are ways in how you're supposed to manage how the child sits, how much internet they consume. If they're bored, what are you replacing the habits with? Say if a child is told that they can be on the laptop or play games or whatever for 2 hours a day, they have to stick with it. When it comes to throwing tantrums or any crying, or just when the parent says no, you can't do this now, and they act in, say, a negative behavior, that's when there should be boundaries set, that this behavior is something that it's not tolerated, and if you want it, we've set a time, and then we can go and you can play, you can game, you can talk to your friends at this certain period of the day, not at any other time. So I think that helps with younger children, because
Hmm.
then they set in a routine where, oh, this time I will get it. And they
Yes.
So
won't repent.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of parents are trying to do that, right? Because my brother, I was just talking to him yesterday. The oldest is 10 years old, right? So we were just comparing. Like, I was just asking, how is she? And I remember how he was. He would spend more time with us on Skype or on WhatsApp. Now it's hardly you can't even get his time. He's so busy with his tablet or phone because he had just received that slot of time to work on it. So he's waiting for that slot of time.
Mhm.
Again, the addiction, that it's almost like my brother was joking. His hands are shaking probably like an addict to get that whole thing. But that's the again, the age factor is important for me because after a point you are fighting a losing battle, it almost seems like, and I don't know what that age is like, and I thought it was
Mm.
maybe in a psychology point, from a psychology
Mm.
standpoint, there
So
might be a
also
switching
the
point
thing is,
or tipping
More
see,
than
point.
the age, maybe I'm just thinking that it's also the exposure, like you said, that if you allow them to be using tablets and other gadgets for a long period of time, then they get used to that. And one of that exposure factor is also outside home, like at school.
mm,
So where maybe it is not as much disciplined or as much controlled, because it's being used for education, for learning. So but it has also an kind of exposure aspect there. So maybe that is also adding to this. What do you think?
no, I do believe that with school, I understand, because everything's changing, the world's changing, and we have to adjust to how the world changes. So if it's happening in school and all of these, they play games, and it's just the idea that there are still games periods in school. They're still promoted to go outside. They're still told, oh, you can play this sport, you can do these activities, everything. So that's there. But when a child comes back home, many a times there's no 24. You can't, as a parent, you can't 24 sit and look at your child and see what they're doing and what they're not
Hmm.
doing. So it is, um you're supposed to create an environment where they understand that these specific hours I can do this, these specific hours I can do this. But also sitting and looking at your child's interests, understanding what they find. Even if they're playing a game like Minecraft, what do they think? What do they think they like about Minecraft? What can you talk to them about Minecraft? Just even with YouTube. So if they have a favorite YouTuber, talk to them about their YouTuber. What do you like about your YouTuber and stuff like that. So when you deviate them from watching it and you start having conversations, it helps because they feel like you
Hmm.
relate to them. And second, also when you talked about what age, I think with all of this, it's developmental stages. So at every stage, um, there's a different response to everything, right? So from 0 to 1, a child has a different response. From 1 to 2, 3 to 4, every time there's a different response. So in these stages, to also understand what stage your child is going through, how to build respect, how to build autonomy, these are very important because these are the stages where a child is going through development.
Do you lose it?
Hmm. Tvarita,
We might have lost her. Um, let's see if she gets back. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I was, focusing on the age factor really, Kanti, is, it's almost like, can we save one child from that addiction early on? Because these parents are trying to do that, I think. They're trying to allot time, no doubt about it, right? Let me just add her back. They're definitely trying to allot time, but Twitter makes a very good point. Not only should you allot time, you have to spend that
time
allotted
with
time
them.
with the kid. I don't think they're doing that. They
Yeah.
can't in many ways, right? Because one parent is working and the other parent. In my brother's case alone, he works in Australia, so he's on vacation, so he's spending a lot of time with them. But when he goes
But
back to Australia,
yeah, but
it
more frequently, of course, we have both the parents working, so
yeah,
that has added its own
yeah.
kind
When the
of
parents work, hmm,
demand for parents to also be able to spend the time with the kids. So, but
yeah,
it's a very important
yeah,
point Twaita
yeah,
is making, that you have to be with them
yeah,
and be part of their learning and their
yeah,
entertainment through the gadgets.
yeah. So you
So
have to allot time, but you also have to spend time with them. That's what you're saying, right, Pradita?
exactly, yeah.
Can't just allot time and go away, but you have
No,
to
you
now
can't.
spend time. That's very difficult for parents to do because they
Hmm.
might be working. So how do you
Hmm.
navigate that when you don't have the time, right? Not everybody
Hmm.
can have a grandparent there, or and again they're also limited by
Of
what they can
course.
do. Yeah,
Even if caregivers are there, even caregivers need to be trained. Like, say, if you have a nanny or if you have someone who, even anyone who's around the child, because of course you're leaving someone with the child, if they're young.
yeah,
Now, when it comes to a stage where a child is a teenager or just in their preteens or teens,
yeah,
then it's slightly different because they need a little more conversation. So whenever the parents have time, whenever if they have an elder sibling or anyone, when they have time to sit with them for at least an hour or 2 hours, or as I said in the last podcast, Sundays are very important.
yeah,
So just making that environment where they feel safe enough to talk about things and are feel that they are respected, it makes a better you know environment for them as well. The children understand that, okay, I can, I don't need to possibly go to a laptop or go and game. I can you know shift boredom.
yeah,
So there's something called transition.
mhm,
So that is where um, a parent or any caregiver sits with the children and transitions them out of the phase where they would talk about things they like, find things in mutual, talk about games they like, talk about do games, play
with them.
interesting things,
Mm.
bring friends in. Yes,
Yeah.
call friends, call guests, anything. Just make them more socially active in their surroundings rather than online.
Yeah. So what's happening with my brother's 10-year-old is like they enroll him in all kinds of classes, right? Just to get him out of the house. Piano lessons,
Mm,
boxing. He's just finished some swimming lessons. Now Kerala is very hot right now. Now outside activities now are harder, so he's back at the house. So and my brother, he to his credit, he spends
mm,
time playing board games with him. So he's able to do
mm,
that while he's on vacation. He goes back to Australia for
mm,
work. Then his wife is working full time. She's actually working in the same field as you, speech therapy mostly. Then so,
mm, okay.
and so there's so she's taking a lot of clients online.
Mm,
She works to a hospital. They've got these two kids, right, 10-year-old and 4-year-old. It's very difficult. So that's a situation, and I'm sure it is very similar to others. We're not talking about rich people who have
mm,
caregivers and the ability to kind of put more people.
mm,
So those uh, you know tactics are great, but I think the parents are feeling a challenge because how do you carve out time.
Mm.
So
mm.
I'm really interested to hear more from you. I know you've got less time now. You've got to go, but maybe the next time we talk, or maybe if you can write more about this, which is
Of course,
how
yes.
tactics to help kids age wise. So if
Mm,
you're age bracket
mm,
5 or lower, here are the things you should
mm,
do. They're still in that
mm,
imaginative stage. They're not
mm,
addicted to the phones. Maybe here are the things you got to do. Start
mm,
early. Put those kind of
mm,
boundaries in place, but also work out your environment in such a way that you're saying
mm.
spending more time. The other thing is books, which I wanted to kind of touch upon is how do you get them
Yes.
interested in books? Like I was not a great reader, but I was not also addicted to smartphones because of no smartphones.
Mm, mm,
But I was telling my brother there should be a book club that you can
mm.
get these kids enrolled to.
Of
Like get
course, yeah.
yeah, because once they get addicted to that, to reading, and maybe it is a way to wean them off of the books, right? Because I've seen a lot of
Mm.
people who are really avid readers, kids, they don't get stuck. They still spend time, but they're
Yes.
Yeah,
automatically
Mm-hmm.
getting out of
true.
it.
And I will share
Yes.
our experience of parenting with our daughter when she was a baby. Basically, babies emulate their parents. They will
Mm.
Mm.
copy parents, and whatever the parents are doing, they will try to do that. So
Yeah.
even when she was like about 1.5 years, 2 years old, I would be reading newspaper, and I will give her kind of an old newspaper copy or a magazine copy, and she will pretend that she is reading. She will tear it up and she will play with it, but she got used to the kind of idea of kind of holding something in her hand. Even if she cannot read, she will kind of imagine that she's reading, and that's how we got her into reading books. And that's a habit she has basically obviously has maintained so long. And despite the fact that she works online and everything, she's still passionate about reading books,
Yeah,
kind of
that's very good.
both electronic and
Mm.
also in print.
Yeah,
Now, talking about
Mm.
book clubs, the sad part is that there are not many left in the country anymore. Like everywhere else, everything going online, digital, and all that. Less and less book clubs you will find, or libraries. They are dying, they are closing.
Mm.
So that's something, anyway, we'll have to kind of imbibe the habit at home primarily.
yeah,
So once you
yeah,
get that habit into your kids, hopefully they will look out, find out
yeah,
opportunities to buy
yeah,
and borrow books and things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I would even say apartments, right? People are living in apartments. Every apartment should have a kids book club. That's my
Mm.
grand strategy. Everybody should do that. Again, I know you've got maybe just 2 minutes left. You got to go, right? But this was great, Tvarita. I'm really passionate about this subject of how to figure it out for my niece and nephew till they tell me till they are bored enough to tell me, hey, stop messing with my life. So they're not there yet. He's only, the 10-year-old
Yes.
also still listens to me to some extent. He feels guilty when I say, you're not
Mm.
speaking to me. So he's
Mm.
still, I think, we can still save him. But so that I'll be coming back to you with these questions. Like I said, this will be a regular session. We'll do once a month. If you, and then we will try to get more questions for you ahead of time.
Sure.
If not, I'll get all my family to ask questions, and I will go
Oh,
out there
perfect.
and ask people. Okay, but thank you so
I'm
much,
sure.
Tvarita.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure there will
Thank
be a
you
lot of
so
questions
much.
coming your way, Tvarita, and we look
yeah,
forward to having you
yeah,
again on this Ask Me Anything segment
yes,
in 4 weeks' time.
yeah. And you should write about.
Thanks.
I'll ping you about that. Like I have ideas on what topics you
Yes,
should write about.
sure. Of course, I'd
All
love
right.
that.
So, all
Okay.
right. All the best.
All right.
And again, congrats on
Thank
your
you.
award. And looking forward to talking to you
Thank
next time.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, it's always fun to talk to Twarita. She's got so much of information. Is she coming back? Hey, you back? You can. Right. She's. I think she's joining the wrong one. Okay. All right. And I think we have Venkata here too, right? Who's I'm guessing Twarita's dad, maybe. You know him, your friend.
He is, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Venkata, I wish Twarita all the best, and we are so glad that she's able to give us her time every month, and she's been amazing with her content. She's just, I think she's in a field which is so needed right now. Everything that's going on in the world. So kudos to
Absolutely.
you for bringing up a child like Twarita, who's not addicted to phones, but she's there to help out other
Help.
people.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear a little bit about your backstory, about how you, cultivated or fostered a culture of reading within your household for your daughter. So that was really nice to hear. Um,
Well, yeah,
Incrementally, I'm
I
learning a little more and more about you as we continue doing these Sunday
yes,
zaps.
I was actually kind of mm, disciplined into reading by one of our teachers in school. I was in class 8, I think, at that point, and our English teacher was furious one day, basically at the students, because he was asking, "How many of you have actually borrowed a book from the book library, school library?" And none of us had ever gone to the library. So somehow that kind of triggered me into kind of going to the library, taking books and reading, and it became a bit of a habit. And that also helped me into getting into the studying literature and eventually journalism. But at home also we used to get newspapers. I mean, we didn't have TV at that time, forget about internet. So the only way you could get news was from the newspapers and magazines. So we had this regular supply of newspapers and magazines. My father was not so kind of explicit about, okay, forcing you have to read newspapers and all that, but he used to read. So obviously I was influenced by that, so I was reading newspapers, and that's how I got into journalism. And that habit has stayed with me. So I love reading. I wish I could do more of reading, but I'm doing more than before. So there
That's
was a
good.
period in my professional life when I didn't have time to read much,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that I'm getting back
Yeah.
to that.
With AI and technology, like I do all my research now on Claude, right? Because it's easier to kind of do things. But I wish I had that same, you know, upbringing. And again, I'm not by blaming my parents. It was all me. Like I did not get addicted to books. Uh, but when I met my wife, who is a avid reader, she basically grew up, in a library. Her dad had a library. He was a CA. I mean, he was a CA, and then attached to his office, or I would say his office was in the library because he was so
Okay.
addicted to books. She just like, and so she grew up pretty much reading. um, and she reads really fast. Again, cultivating reading at an early age, you definitely get to increase your speed of reading,
Mm,
how quickly you absorb information. And I see that with my 10-year-old nephew. My brother was saying yesterday that he's a fast reader. So he's read all the Mahabharata books, and so he's really interested in all that. uh, but then once that is done, he goes back to his games, right? So that is why I think it's still salvageable. If he, if there was some way to design, um, his activities around books, because he read all the secret 7 books he was reading, and he would read them fast. So he's a
Mm.
fast reader. But then that's it. Once it's done, right? Then he goes back. Also, other kids are also not. Some kids do share books and say, here's a book. Let's read together,
Mm.
or that is very rare. But most kids are on smartphones and Minecraft and all these YouTube videos. That's what he sees other people doing. So not only are you emulating your parents, you're after a stage you're just emulating what other kids are doing. So environment wise, it's
Yes,
not
and
just
we
within
have to
home.
we have
That whole,
to we have to also acknowledge that there are some kind of skills that kids learn while
Mhm.
using the gadgets, using online resources, even gaming. I mean, it has certain skills that they
Oh
kind
yeah,
of learn through that process. It's
YouTube.
just that,
Yeah,
yeah,
they learn so much from YouTube.
yeah, exactly. And it's all depends on how you use it. And the only thing is, I think what I keep reading is that the retention ability is more with when you are reading kind of in print rather than on screen.
Yeah,
And that from personal experience probably will kind of agree with that observation, even if it is not proven through any research as such.
yeah,
So, but I think psychologists are already kind of making that connection that it's easy, you remember things better and for longer when you read it in print rather than online.
yeah,
So
yeah. Those are
there
the
is a
things.
case for kind of kind of splitting our time, learning time or
Yeah,
reading time between the two formats. It doesn't have to be that doesn't have to
yeah.
be exclusive.
And it's very hard to learn this after, like, right now at this age, like I'm 48, 49. After a while, you forget what age you're. Like, I stopped tracking. Uh, but it's so hard to cultivate habits, right? It's very difficult. Like
It is, but
you
it's
got,
still never too late to learn anything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
No, I know that. Yeah, the fact that we are doing YouTube at this late stage, this is not
exactly. So maybe
so much to
maybe
learn.
what you need to try is read something that is of kind of very passionate you are passionate about. Try to
Yeah.
read it in print and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, last time Tvarita was here, I actually printed her articles out, and I was more able to retain most of that. But it's like, I think the other aspect is you're running after so many things. Like, we want to do so much. There's so much. Time is running out. We got to do so much. But I might want to start a book club with you, maybe.
Well, I plan to actually
Online book
start
club.
a book club or a library for our apartment complex. That has been something that
I think that's a good idea. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So and in recent years, I have been buying books. Keeping in mind in the future, I will be kind of donating it to a library or a
you
book
should. I
club.
think, yeah, the apartment thing is really good because not only should adults have this book club, which, even in our community here, my wife is part of 2 book clubs because a lot of ladies read. Guys, we are trying to find wine clubs and whiskey clubs. It's just not working
Wine
out.
whiskey.
I tried to start a cycling club, that didn't work out. But book clubs are easier to kick off. There's so many actually on Substack that are online book clubs. People from around the world kind of get together. I have an idea. Maybe we should start a Sunday book club
Yeah,
or Sunday draft
we
book club.
could.
We'll just figure it out. Online book club, which will kind of pair with your own ideas of book clubs. There, we can kind of figure out how to promote the books. But I think there should be a kids book club, and I don't
Hmm.
know if I'm the right person to do
That
that, but maybe
yeah, that
Twarita
is
can
that
help.
is most important because
There
that's
should
where
be
we have to
exactly.
inculcate the habit when they are young,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's not going to be challenge free. It's not going to be easy, especially because they have become habituated to using gadgets for all their learning and reading and everything.
yeah.
But I think the first step is to have the books around them.
Absolutely.
Many parents probably don't do that at homes,
They
but
don't
we can
read.
do it a
They
community
don't.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we
they
can
don't
provide
read.
the
Yeah,
books, and then the parents and children they come there, and then they get used to the idea of
yeah,
picking a book and reading it,
yeah.
flipping through it.
We should definitely
So
pick on this thread and figure it out because I want to do something. And again, I'm so far away from my nephew and niece that I can't do much there, but maybe I can show something online.
Okay,
Um,
it might be on
let's figure that out.
on a
It's onto
yeah
something,
on something onto something here,
onto something. Yeah.
because as I'm collecting books for my future library, I'm also actually creating database of them.
Oh
So I
yeah, good.
use
And my
an
wife has a
tool.
huge database too. She's got a
Yeah.
list already. So
Okay.
the database
So
is not the issue. It's just the logistics of how we figure it out. Maybe it's a Monday book club on a Sunday draft podcast. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I think there's something to it. Maybe we'll pair with Tvarita and figure out how we can get a child psychologist on board to design it for us. With that, thank you for everybody who's joined. We had a really I enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed speaking to Tvarita. I enjoyed talking to you about this whole case. We will do more of this next Sunday. We'll bring some important topics. Please follow, please subscribe to the Sunday Draft. We are on YouTube. We are on. We'll be posting a lot more YouTube shorts, which is it seems like it's actually getting a lot more audience. Quick post. So we have the Sunday Draft on YouTube. Please subscribe to the Sunday Draft on Substack because we'll be doing more lives. All you need is to be a subscriber here, and then you'll get notified of the lives. So please follow us, subscribe to us. Thank you for joining. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to log off right now. And thanks, Kanti. It was always nice
thank you,
seeing. Nice to have you
thank
back
you,
from your
Raj, and
vacation.
thank you to Arita, and thank you everyone else who joined.
Yeah. Bye.